everyone, my name is Catalyst, welcome back to the channel, I hope you all are doing well. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the direction of Battlefield 2042 and some of the things that I would like to see happen while the game continues to improve and release more updates. DICE have made it pretty clear that they aren't giving up on 2042 anytime soon, so where do they go from here now that we are in the middle of the 4th season and the game has finally received some of its more time-consuming overhauls like map reworks and the class system? Obviously, DICE have already mentioned that there will be a 5th season of content, and quite frankly, I don't see any reason why there wouldn't be a 6th or 7th season, considering that the next major Battlefield release likely won't be until 2024. But that's not exactly what I'm wanting to discuss for this video today. I'm going to discuss things that personally I feel DICE need to either change or accomplish in order for Battlefield 2042 to really take a gigantic stride towards being an all-around better experience. Because as much as DICE has changed and tweaked things since launch, there is still a lot of work to do. So if you liked the video, leave a like on it and make sure to comment down below how you think DICE should proceed with Battlefield 2042. As it stands right now, I think the two biggest things in Battlefield 2042 that needs tweaking are both balance-related issues. The first of which I've already discussed on this channel before in a video, but I want to bring up again today because to me, this kills my enjoyment of 2042 more than anything else currently. And of course, I'm talking about the transport vehicles and just in general the state of vehicle play in the game as a whole. Right now, transport vehicles like the Condor, the Super Hind continue to dominate lobbies without any real effort involved in it. If you remember the video that I posted a month or so ago talking about the vehicle versus infantry balance, this was the main talking point. To give you all the abridged version, transport vehicles are currently the most popular vehicle in the game because they can handle the massive amount of anti-vehicle gadgets thrown at them that other air vehicles just can't stand. And this is a meta that has developed over time because excessive anti-vehicle spam that can happen from game to game has pushed other vehicles almost entirely out of relevance. In Breakthrough, these are the only air vehicles that you can play, and even good defending teams will have trouble taking out these vehicles if the pilot and gunner are competent. There are a couple ways of fixing this. The most obvious one to me is to completely eliminate the second gunner seat under the nose of the vehicle and replace it with a spotting seat instead. So this way there would only be the twin miniguns and there would be less incentive to stick in the transport vehicle and farm since there is no more grenade pod launcher or 50mm. The other option would be to straight up nerf the health pool of these vehicles, but that opens the door for the other side of the equation for engineers and their gadgets to become even stronger, which depending on which side of the fence you fall on, they may already be too strong. It really is just a gigantic balancing mess at the moment, and it's a multi-headed issue. There needs to be some serious thought into getting the balance right between both sides, the engineer class and the vehicles, in order for the game to get into a good place. There is also the problem of Battlefield 2042 having a poor variable vehicle count in Conquest. Take Caspian Border for example. There are 17 vehicles available per team on that map, in comparison to Orbital, which only has 8. I have played a lot of hours of Caspian Border in my Battlefield time, and I can tell you that without a shadow of a doubt, there does not need to be 17 available vehicles. And Orbital certainly doesn't need only 8 either. It almost feels like DICE are pulling lotto numbers for the amount of vehicles on every Conquest map, and it makes some maps completely undesirable to play. I would love it if DICE did a pass on the vehicles allowed for every single map to make the experiences more varied and tailored to each map, and I also want the transport vehicles nerfed in some way so that other vehicles can become more viable options and we can have more varied gameplay instead of getting repeatedly farmed by the skillless flying fortresses. Now, as much as I just talked about the vehicle play in 2042 being in a bad spot, I don't think that the gunplay in Battlefield 2042 is in a good spot either. In fact, next to launch, where the spread and hit reg was so bad that you had to use the PP29 to kill somebody, I think this is the worst that Battlefield 2042's gunplay has been, and it's for the exact opposite reason. A few months ago, there was a patch that fixed a recoil bug that has been plaguing the game since its release, and while that fix was very welcomed, and I'm certainly not suggesting you revert it, it has kind of exposed just how laser-like Battlefield 2042's gunplay is, and I don't think it's for the better. Battlefield 2042 has always had this style of gunplay, but it wasn't necessarily a problem because it was covered up by a myriad of input and hit registration issues. But now that the game has cleaned itself up a little bit, it's getting to where there is no engagement distances in the game because of how the gunplay is working. If you can see someone, you could probably kill them. Part of this is due to the maps being so large that it has artificially increased engagement distances. In previous battlefields, if you saw someone far away, there was about a 10% chance, if that even, that you killed them, but you would have to hit almost every single bullet, and depending on the type of gunplay, whether that was Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4, you would most likely have to burst fire as well to reset your spread. In 2042, when I see someone far away, I think to myself, I can probably kill them, and oftentimes I do. If a sniper misses a shot on me in this game, there's about a 75% chance I turn to where the shot came from and absolutely light that sniper up and instantly kill him and win in a situation that I really shouldn't win, especially if I'm using an assault rifle, which has been the most dominant weapon class for multiple seasons now. Ever since the Season 1 update and the subsequent damage range change, weapons like the BSVM, the SFAR, M5A3, M16A3, and now the RM68 dominate the battlefield. Part of that is due to the 2.15x headshot multipliers that ARs get. It realistically should just be a base 2.0 multiplier, but the amount of times I get framed by an assault rifle from 50 meters away is starting to get a little frustrating, and if it's frustrating for me, I imagine it's frustrating for some more average players. SMGs definitely need to have a little bit of help as well, apart from the PP29, which in of itself is a longer range SMG. I don't think there's really a single SMG right now, apart from maybe the K30, that I would use over the PP29 because it's one of the few guns that can compete with these beamy assault rifles. Also, a lot of the portal weapons feel completely underpowered in compared to their all-out warfare counterparts, and I would like to see these tuned as well. Here's the thing, the gunplay needs to be something that gets a gigantic pass over at some point, and something that does need to be changed because the game's input is going to continue to get better and the hit registration hopefully continues to get better as well. So this problem that we currently have where everything is a straight laser beam could potentially get worse. Either there needs to be a severe damage range nerf across the board to all weapons, or there needs to be the introduction of more recoil and spread. Mostly spread, and I know that spread was horrible at the beginning of the game and we all complained about it, as we should have, because we couldn't hit anything, but there were a lot of bugs at the time that were affecting this, and I think the gunplay would be healthier and also just more engaging to play if something is done to the gunplay to make guns feel different and useful in different situations. I think this is a better alternative to a straight up time to kill change. Right now, everything feels the same, everything beams, and not only can this be frustrating to play against, but it also makes the game more boring overall. There's definitely a feeling right now that if you peek an angle at the wrong time, you won't live, and I think if the gunplay wasn't quite so laser-like, maybe it would open up the flow of the game a little bit more as well. This is a DEFCON 5 issue for me right now, so I would like to see a big sweeping change here of some kind in the future. Those are the two big things in this video that if I feel got addressed in any capacity would greatly increase my enjoyment of playing 2042, and these are things that I think are very feasible to accomplish. Now there are some other things that I would like but I doubt will ever happen or be addressed, and the first of those things is I would like to see more content in Portal. Unfortunately, Portal in Battlefield 2042 has sort of had to die so that the all-out warfare mode could live, and while I do enjoy classic Portal weapons being added to the base game content, it's making Portal less special as a different aspect to the game, and I feel like Portal is too good of an idea to just kind of let it rot by the wayside. That's not to say that it is currently rotting. There are some Portal game experiences such as Team Deathmatch and Rush that are available, but beyond that, Portal as I see it right now is kind of like a refugee camp for players to XP farm and play extremely niche hardcore experiences, and I want more for Portal than that. I think the expectation was that we would be getting maps and weapons from different games over time in Portal, and that just hasn't been the case. I seem to remember that an explanation was offered to why this is, but I cannot remember what the reasoning was. Either way, I would like to see something done with Portal to make it more enticing. Either it's time to add more games to Portal like Battlefield 1 or Battlefield Hardline, add more classic maps from the games already in Portal that can be played in Exodus Conquest as well, like Cyan Crossing or Grand Bazaar from Battlefield 3, or give Portal a feature that gives Portal purpose, like a spectator mode perhaps. Just in general on that note, the game overall could use more content. I know that feels a bit rich to say 4 seasons deep into the game, but I wonder how many people are truly satisfied with the amount of content that we have received each season. I know for myself, quality of the content aside, I feel like there's still not enough. DICE have already announced that there will be no more specials coming to the game, so with the next seasons of content, I fully expect DICE to double up on the amount of weapons and especially double up on the amount of maps that we're getting per season. If we continue to only get one map per season, then that is incredibly disappointing, especially considering that there are only 10 maps in the main game around a year and a half into the game's lifecycle. Now that's not including the 4 portal maps that you can play via the Exodus Conquest playlist, but even though that does make the number a little bit better, it's a limited time playlist that keeps getting shuffled, so sometimes it's there and you have more variety, and other times it's not, and I get bored very quickly playing the same breakthrough maps over and over again, which, speaking of playing the same breakthrough maps, I would also like to see the matchmaking logic get overhauled. I remember reading something saying that they're going to be looking into making changes in this area, but right now one of the most frustrating things in Battlefield 2042 is trying to find a game and consistently getting queued into maps and modes that you do not want to play. DICE have already said that a server browser is out of the question for the main game experience, so with that being the case, I would really like some kind of update to the current matchmaking system. Getting queued into the same discarded map, playing on defense, when I don't want to play discarded defense is extremely annoying, and sometimes it gets so bad that I have to divert my stream or my play session to go play a different game mode that I also didn't really want to play at the moment just to come back and get a better queue for a breakthrough lobby. This is one of my main gripes with the game. It's been one of my main gripes with the game, and I would really like it if DICE addressed this now that they have made some more fundamental changes to the game. Just as a final note for today's video, something that I've kind of briefly touched on throughout this video is right now the servers have seemingly been getting worse and worse with every update, and of course with servers I'm talking about server desync, hit detection. That all seems to have gotten worse in my opinion. Maybe it's different if you're playing on console, but for me on PC, and of course I play with crossplay on, it seems like I'm getting shot around walls more than I have at any other point playing this video game, and it's an issue obviously, but it's something that was fine, but now is to where I almost feel the need to run the network graph to see if I'm not registering bullets because it's been that noticeable. I don't know what the solution to this is. I'm not a game technician, obviously. I don't know if it's simply as simple as doing a server reset or if it's something a little bit more complicated, but this is a minor gripe that I see getting worse and worse since Season 4 launched, and I would really like it if that was addressed. And I think I'll end the video there. These are the main things that I want to see DICE address now that the game is in a state where they can pursue other things that are not just swept up in fundamental core gameplay changes. What do you think? What would you like to see DICE do next with Battlefield 2042? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like. It really does help me in the algorithm, and if you enjoyed it just that much, subscribe for more content. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Catalyst, and I'll see you all another time.